Okay, looks like it's recording.
Jay,
Yeah,
Jay, can you hear me?
yeah, I can. Yep.
My Zoom keeps stopping. I don't know why. So I seem to be having to come in and out. It's not
Oh.
responding.
Huh.
So if
I don't see
I
your.
disappear, I'll try to come back in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not getting your video. We were for a while, but now we just see your name. Well, Alan, did you have a question that you sent in, or do you have a question? Anyway.
Oh, no, I didn't. I've got a Lightroom, but I have never really done much with it other than trying to navigate through it and get lost.
All right, I'm back.
And you're gone again. Except your name's up there twice. Interesting.
Oh, and I just got a message saying the internet connection is unstable, whatever that means. Yikes.
You're in the UP again, are you, Jay?
No, never try that again. No.
Just teasing a little.
Yeah, I know. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? So, I mean, I've been up there. I've used the internet up there, watched videos up there. You know, why wouldn't it have worked for this stupid thing? But it didn't, of course. So, yeah.
Half the world is using Zoom anymore. That might be the problem.
Yeah, could be.
So many people.
Okay, now we see you, Mary. But you're
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. I closed it all down and started again, so maybe that'll work.
Yeah,
I see myself in here twice.
yeah, and now you disappeared again. I wonder if I can remove you. I'll remove one ear. Oh no, that's not a good thing to do. It tells me you can't rejoin if I do that. So that's let's not do that.
It says I can't read.
No, I didn't remove you
Oh.
because I saw that warning. So okay, well,
Well, it looks like it stopped.
Can you hear us, Mary?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
can you see us?
I can hear you and I can see you, but the screen with my face on it is frozen,
Yeah.
and I have a little hourglass thing here, so
Mhm.
why don't you just go ahead and I'll just hang here and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. All right, so Alan, so I asked you first, what do you want us to do? Is there anything we can do for you in this meeting that would help?
You talking to me?
Yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to join to kind of get an overview of what the purpose of Lightroom is. I mean, you know, you have Photoshop and Lightroom is Adobe, so it's I'm assuming it's a smaller version of Photoshop, but usually they have certain things that they, you know, like Elements specializes in one thing and Lightroom specializes in another. One of them, I think, deals a lot with batch processing.
Right.
Well, just to kind of give you the overview, I guess. Lightroom was designed as a cataloging and
Digital asset
digital
management.
asset management. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So Lightroom has several modules: the library, and mine is just shot tonight.
Develop.
Develop, thank you.
Think of this as a
And
quiz.
several others. Yeah. It's been one of those days, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had everything in the world happen to me today, and then
Oh, no.
not quite with. So anyhow, Alan, it was designed a number of years ago as a digital asset management tool. They added the develop parts of it and some of the rest of it. It's kind of all tied together. So Lightroom is incorporated into, it's the hub of your workflow, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is designed to be the hub. You bring your photos onto your hard drives wherever. That's a whole discussion by itself. And Lightroom keeps track of where they are.
Oh,
So they can either bring it into you can either manually bring photos onto your hard drives off your camera card, or let Lightroom do it. And that's the library module. And it puts in, and then you can make collections, which has some other functionality. But a collection is nothing more than an index. If you think of a library, downtown, you go to the card section and you pull the card out and it tells you where the book is.
okay.
It's in row 7, shelf 5, over in the scientific section, whatever it is. That's the function of a collection. It doesn't actually move the file around or anything. The only place the file exists is where you put it with the file section. Okay? You create collections then to help find them later. 5 years from now, if you put the photo in there with as March 23rd, 2021, and it was a nice picture of a goose or something, 5 years from now, when you go to try and find that sucker, you got to remember that it's March 23rd is when you took that picture of the goose. However you named the photo.
Right.
The collection, if you name it March 23rd and put them in date files, then create a collection that says geese. Now all you got to do is go to whoever took up on the screen, and you can find the one you want.
Okay.
Edit it from there. Now you can edit it in the develop section. You can take it to Lightroom. You can take it to any of the other Adobe products. You can take it to things like On1 and Luminar, and there's a lot of other softwares that attach to Lightroom that you can actually take it over there to that software, edit it, and it comes back, and you know where it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm getting a picture a little bit better now, yeah.
So Photoshop, if you take it all the way to, there's camera, do you shoot in RAW? Is
Yes,
that, okay. There's the program, Adobe's Camera Raw software is the basis of Lightroom's develop module. It's the basis of Photoshop. It's a standalone. You can use Bridge any of those, and it's all the same stuff.
Okay, a bridge is my primary
Okay,
management.
bridge doesn't, yeah, you know where you can go find the files, but you got to know everything. The library module takes the place of bridge.
Okay,
So you don't need bridge anymore. Bridge is not terrifically sophisticated. I used to use bridge, but it's Lightroom and the library module gives you a lot more flexibility in naming, in bringing the photos in and putting them where you want them, keeping track of them, all that sort of good stuff.
okay. Yeah, I'm getting a better idea already, just what that's what I kind of needed to know about
Yeah.
Lightroom, as far as what its purpose is, and other than just processing images.
Yeah, it has two things. It does the digital asset management is its primary thing, the library
Okay.
module. Then you take it, what they did was they added then camera raw to Lightroom, and they call it the development module.
Oh, okay.
If you look at camera raw in Lightroom or in Photoshop, it's identical. It's the same stuff. It's the same sliders. It's the same software.
Well, yeah, it would be Adobe Camera Raw would be, they're just using it in different places or what it's.
Different place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, camera raw is where you do most of your initial editing, changing exposure, adding light, taking some light away, saturation, shadows,
Highlights and all that.
all that sort of good stuff. All that's in the develop module, and that's camera raw. If you go to camera raw straight on, or Lightroom, or it's always the same. It's the same stuff. It's the same sliders. They're basically laid out the same way.
Oh,
So now Lightroom, that's all non-destructive. Okay, so you've taken a photograph and it's sitting out there in your hard drive, and it's a CR3, 2, 3, whatever system, raw system you're using. What Lightroom does, or Camera Raw does, it creates another file with all the adjustments that you want. It gives it the same name and puts it alongside. So it's going to be goose.cr2, and it'll say right next to it, if you edit it, it'll say goose XLM file. Okay, and that's just a little text file that says, go in, read the main file, CR file, and display it with these changes. Add a little of this, a little of that, shadows, the whole list of things, so that the original file is never touched. Okay, so if you take that file to Photoshop now, and you do those same kind of things, you can actually modify the file itself. What it does is creates a new file, the PSD.
oh, right. Okay.
So, but the PSD, there may be some history attached to it, but it changes the file itself. The PSD doesn't have an XLM file set over here on the side. So anything you can do well, how do I want to say this? I forgot where the hell I was going now. The phone's ringing and everything else.
Actually, this may not be the time if, we're probably using this meeting's intended purpose for something else right now. So it probably shouldn't need to to get into this too deeply. You probably want to get moving along with the meeting as it was planned.
This is kind of what we had in mind for the whole SIG program, was getting to people and helping them understand these things and get over any hump.
Okay,
So if you want to set up a meeting, just you and me, and we can go through it, we can put Lightroom on the screen, and I can show you step by step what to do.
well, okay, that might be, I do know that I work with, I get NEF files that are the raw files.
Yeah,
If I open one of those and edit it in Adobe Raw, I can save it as something else, but the original NEF file is also changed by the changes I made to it. And I'm probably doing something wrong there, because
yeah,
what I end up doing is creating, I open up a file and save a duplicate, and then rename the duplicate something else altogether. And then the NEF file is left alone.
yeah. And that's why you do, when you call that file up in Lightroom or whatever, it will bring the original file in and then apply all the changes you made from that other little file. So when you
Okay.
display it, it's the way you left it. If you go down to the bottom of the right-hand column and say reset, all those changes go away and you're back to the original file.
Oh, okay. Now this is any time down the road, 6 years from now, I could do a reset on that image.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I do that all the time. I very seldom do the same, take an image that I edited 5 years ago, bring it in and say, yeah, that's what I want. I usually start over because I've learned so much in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
And
I find the same thing.
you know, I can do better than what I
Yeah,
did back then.
exactly.
And the software is a little better too, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the other thing that you can do in Lightroom is, let's say you have edited an image and done a lot of changes to it. You can always look at the history of the edits that you made. That's in a panel to the left. And if you walk down through that list, you can go back to the picture as it was when it was pulled in. I mean, actually, maybe it would make sense for me to share my screen, since we're not looking at anything else useful here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so you should be seeing my Lightroom screen now.
I do.
You do? Okay. Yeah, so if I look at a picture here that I've edited, I'd mark these with, all right, well, here's one. So I had made some edits to this. If I go over to the left-hand side here, under history, these are all the edits that I made to this picture. If I click
okay.
on this, that's the way it looked when it was imported. Okay, so this is the original picture,
Okay.
basically. And if I want to, I can create a copy of that. Now this is a copy. If I look at the, so this is the one that I had edited. This is the one that the copy that I made. And now I can start all over again. See, this has no history with it. Now I can edit this one and I leave the other one alone the way that it was. So sometimes that's handy. You can also do what John said and reset it and throw away all your things. But if you want to remember, you know, if you want to just try something completely different and not throw away what you had done before, that's easy enough to do too, like this. So.
Well,
The
this is raw right here. This
Yeah, this is a raw image.
image
Yeah,
I'm
when
seeing.
I imported, I
So,
changed it.
so if I were to process this, I would save it somewhere as a PSD. And then I have that PSD. So now I could come back to this and go back to its original as it came out of the camera and start all over again.
Right.
The PSD is already saved, so I'm not fooling around with that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a number of ways you can do that.
Right.
The snapshots up there on the left, top
Yeah.
left-hand column.
Yep.
That lets you essentially take a picture of where you are in an editing process. So you can kind of jump around through the process to see, if you did something, backed up, started over,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, let me show you a couple other things that are.
It's just a reference point.
You can always do this. You can always say, show me this picture in Explorer. I don't know whether, are you guys seeing the Explorer? No, I don't know whether it would actually share that, but it brings
Yeah,
up
it
a
didn't
window
show.
of Windows Explorer, and it shows you the original picture. It's still there, just as whenever you imported it into Lightroom yesterday or 10 years ago or whatever. It's never touched the original picture. So that's reassuring. And if you forget where they were or something, or you want to go make a copy of it and do something like you just said, maybe put it into Lightroom, you can always go find it on your computer. So that's a handy thing. If you want to just go directly into Photoshop and make a PSD and start editing Photoshop, that's easy to do. You just right click and then pick Edit In. And I have a bunch of add-ons here, but this is Photoshop. So it's starting up Photoshop. John, are you seeing Photoshop start, or are you just seeing my Lightroom screen?
We're just got your Lightroom. You probably have to
Yeah, I have to
hit share screen again
reshare
and pick
that.
up
Okay.
the other one.
Well, again, I probably shouldn't be, this is something I can cover later on with John or someone. But in the meantime, you might want to get back to the.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to do that. If you want to go back,
Yeah.
if you go to the website and on one of the pages, it tells you where to, there's a link to the videos, the YouTubes.
Lightroom videos.
Yeah, and we did one all on the library module on 1/26, January 26th. And that's an hour and 26 minutes. Then we did some talking on the develop 2/25. And both those videos are out there.
Okay, actually, I'm sure there's probably 6 truckloads of books on this on Amazon.
Oh, they're all, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's easier there's so many ways to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It confuses lots of people. I was trying to explain how the thing works, and
Yeah. Well,
we can sit here and show you 6 different ways to.
Right.
I always say, why simplify something when you can complicate the hell out of it?
Absolutely.
Well, I
Thank you.
think one of the problems here is an old software developer. I kind of recognize the creeping featureism here, that they wanted to build something with Lightroom that was a digital asset manager. And then they thought, well, why don't we do a little bit of developing? And they threw that in. And then they said, okay, why don't we do some other stuff? So they started putting in printing. They put in book creation. They showed you how to show where the picture was taken on a map. They put in all sorts of stuff. So there's a ton of stuff in Lightroom that I never use, and most people probably don't use, but it is a giant program. And as John
Probably
says, there are
through
many
games and
ways to do
design
the
and
same thing.
everything else.
Yeah. So
Oh.
don't worry if you feel overwhelmed, everybody does. Probably
Well,
forever.
I just need to sit down with a couple of good books and kind of review it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking,
we'll
I mean,
move on.
let me just mention one thing. I'm old enough that I like books better than online videos and tutorials. And I have a favorite author that has written a couple really good books on Photoshop and Lightroom. His name is Martin Evening, Evening. I like his style. There's another famous guy who's written a lot of books. Of course, I'm not going to remember his name. John, who's the most famous Lightroom book writer? Lives in Florida. Kelby, Scott Kelby. Yeah. If you look,
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah.
yeah, his books probably sell the most in terms of, if you want to buy a book, a print book. I think I like Martin Evening's better because I like his style a little better. But anyway, those are two good options if you're not comfortable with trying to watch a million videos. There are a few other sites. In the discussion group that we didn't have, I was going to point out a couple of sites that I really like that are good tutorial sites. Actually, why don't I show you one? Now, I mean, we don't have a lot else to do unless Dale has 2 hours worth of questions here.
I don't think so, guys.
I didn't either. So let me just show you this one site because it's nice that it's nice and concise and you can sort of look up things on subjects. Just give me a second here to start it up. Okay, so now you should see my browser and the site is called the Lightroom Queen. People see that?
I'm just seeing
No,
it
I
so far.
didn't click share yet. Okay, now can you see it?
I got a blank screen. Oh, here we are.
Okay,
There we go.
yeah. So
Lightroom
my brother
Queen.
is a photographer too, and he found this site a few months ago, and I just started to look at it. But she's really good. She's English. She's got a lot of special things. If you have a particular problem, she's got a big index on how to fix things. She's got some very basic popular articles. She's even got a couple of free books. If you just register for her site or register your name, she'll send you these 2 books, which I haven't looked at, but they look like they're sort of beginner's books for Lightroom, and they're free. So, they're ebooks. So anyway, there are many other options here, but she's, the bit I've seen and that my brother testifies that he's been happy with everything she's told him. So it's another option to keep in mind. Okay, so that was a
Okay,
quick.
thank you. Yeah, I kind of got this
digression.
written down here. I'm doing some
Yeah.
looking.
Good.
If you want to get with Kelby, he's got a Kelby One website. They're basically a Adobe training outfit. That's what they do. And there's hundreds of courses online. They charge you for. It's like $150 a year or something.
Okay.
But it gives you full access to people and experts. You can send them a text message and, hey, I got this problem with Lightroom doing this, this, and this, and they'll get right back to you on the equipment and software, and all sorts of stuff.
Wow, that's good to know.
And they do seminars all over the country all the time. They're 3 or 4 a year.
I'm pretty sure I've read at least one of his books.
And
Probably
it's
just
hard
kind
to
of
miss him. He is He's everywhere.
Yeah. All right.
So Dale, what do you want us
Thank
to
you.
do?
Well, to tell the truth, I forgot what this meeting tonight was about. I've been using Lightroom for probably about, I don't know, maybe 6 years. Before that, I used the software that Nikon sold with their cameras that was free, and it didn't hardly do anything for me. And I kind of taught myself Lightroom, import, make all the changes, export, and I've been really happy with it. I don't, I have a fairly good workflow as I go through it. There's some stuff I don't use. I don't use collections. I just leave all my photos by date and a topic on my hard drive. The biggest problem I think I have with Lightroom is that my computer is running out of space, hard drive space. So I've got like 3 different external hard drives, and I've got so many pictures that, I never made the collections. So like when you said, John, about the goose photo, I've got tons of goose photos all over the place.
they're
I
all
don't
over
know
the
when I took them.
Yeah.
So I've got to just hunt
Yeah.
and peck,
That-
and,
that-
it takes a lot of time to find a photo that you took 5 years ago, but it's still in your mind. You know exactly
Yeah.
what you
I-
want.
I can bug a person in daylight.
Yeah. I traveled,
Yeah.
by RV for years and years, and I named all my photographs by date. And that's the way the things were. And as long as I could remember that I was in New Mexico in January of 2014, I can find the picture I want, but look out. The further back it goes, or
Yeah.
farther away that stuff is. The reason you use collections. And that's the whole digital management question. When you go from the library module to the develop module, when you're in the library module, you can see your file structure.
Oh, okay. It shows the tree.
Yeah, you can see exactly however you named the files, wherever they are.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when you go to the develop module, that goes away, and all you can see is collections. So what that drives you to is you got to go back and forth between develop and library to find a photograph.
So,
Whereas if you put stuff into collections, it's there directly and saves a bunch of time.
a collection then is something you would name like geese.
Is that I've got about 10 categories of photographs: wildlife, landscapes, family, a couple other things like that, about 10 big groups. And then I don't really care about my file naming. I left all my file names with the dates. But in the collections, I've got them all in one of those big groups. So if I want to go find, and I've got landscapes, and I'll have mountains and beaches and fields and so on and so forth. So if I want to go find a picture of a mountain, boom, I can be right there, and I've got every mountain I ever took.
And I
Okay.
can show you, I use
So I can
collections
find
too.
stuff really fast.
I think I'm sharing my screen again. Can you see it? My Lightroom
Yeah,
screen.
your Lightroom. Develop.
So anyway, I'll just illustrate what John's talking about here. If you go to the library, under the folders, this is the stuff that's on your hard disk. So this should look like the file structure that you've put things in. And like John, I sort things by year. I also, besides the date, I put in a couple things that maybe will help me remember it beyond just the month of the year. But this is the way I stored my pictures, and you can see I've got about 20,000, 200,000 pictures in my library now because I've been using Lightroom for 10 years or something like that. But as John says, it's often easier to put things in collections. So you can see if I go down here, whoops, to the, these are the folders, these are the collections down here. You can see I make collections and I sort them by year too. I could sort them by animal type or whatever else. I tended to do it by collections, but then I have a topic, like I was in Frankfurt, okay?
One picture can be in as many collections as you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, that's a critical thing too. You can
So
have,
you might have lighthouses
Yeah.
collection. You might have a Michigan collection,
yeah,
you know, a lake collection. It can be in all, it's up there in the under files, but it can reside in the collection can, is just, it's like keywords.
I'll make a new collection just to show you how easy it is. So I'm going to create a collection. I'm going to call it Lighthouses. And I'm going to include the selected photos. That is, whatever photo is highlighted here, I'm going to put it in the collection. But I'm also going to set it as a target collection. That lets me pick pictures and stick them into the collection easily. So, and I'm creating it inside a collection set here. So it's going to be with these other guys here. So, okay, and there it is. That's this collection I just made. It's got one picture, the one that I happen to be looking at. If I go back to here, I can pick, I'll pick like 3 of these. And now I say add it to the target collection. That's the collection I just made. That was lighthouses. So now they're in this one too. Okay, so just as John said, you can have as many collections as you want. You can put the same pictures into 50 different collections that, there's really not much overhead at all to a collection. It's really just a set of pointers saying, look for this picture in the catalog. And it only appears once in the catalog, but it can appear in many, many collections. And the more collections you have, the easier it is to find. And you can create whatever
collection have Can a collection have sub-collections in it, like Lake Michigan as a collection, and then sub-collections could be lighthouses, beaches, rocks?
Yeah, in fact,
can
that's
do that,
just what
okay.
this is here. These are all sub-collections underneath these, underneath this one. So
Now you started something. I'll be up till 3 in the morning playing with Lightroom.
yeah. I think,
Hey, Jay,
yeah,
can you hear me?
yep, go ahead, yep.
This is Mary. I can't, for some reason, I managed to get in off of my browser, but I'll work on that. When you have a collection, is it redundant to put keywords in it? I mean, that's one of the things I was thinking about in terms of trying to structure your file paths and so forth. You have lighthouses, and then would it make sense to have some other keywords? When do you use keywords versus, and maybe it's preference, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
partly
much.
preference.
One of the things,
Go ahead.
one of the reasons you use keywords is if you're selling photographs to somebody, one of those I don't know. They're out there on the internet as for somebody to look at, and the way they're going to search for it is by keyword.
Oh, okay.
See, so if you're not selling the photograph, there's no point in having both, really.
Okay.
You put
So,
in one or
okay,
the other.
keywords are for an online,
Whole point-
this, thing.
So if
Yeah.
I had, if I have a collection called dogs, I might have a keyword called Arnie, which is one of my dogs. But, and then that would that just bring up all the pictures of Arnie pictures with that keyword? Or would I be looking under my
Well, you
big,
can search.
my
it by-
much broader term of collections? I suppose I could make a sub-collection. That's what you're talking about, right, Jay?
Yeah,
That's what,
yeah.
that's what we're saying.
So just, and John, you said this, I've heard you say this many times, think it through first and stick with it, stick with your file paths once you feel comfortable with them.
Like you might have a collection called pets. And in the collection set called pets. And underneath that, you might have dogs and cats. And under each one of those, you might have pet names. It's kind of the same thing as a keyword.
I see. Okay. I
You know, but there's no point in doing both because
gotcha.
it's as far as searching
Extra work.
for, if you want to go find a picture of a particular dog, you know, you can do it by, you can search by keyword, or you can go to collection set and read it off. Usually the collection set is faster. 'Cause you don't have
Okay.
to type anything. You can just read it and click on it.
Yeah, I would use
Even that.
keywords
Gotcha.
only if there was some weird thing that I might want to remember, you know, or be able to get to, but I didn't want to bother make a collection for it. You know, I can't think of an example, but you know, if there's something really unusual, then I'd use a keyword. Otherwise, I don't use keywords much. I sort of give them generic keywords when I import them, like the location or something, but I really use collections like John does to organize and search for things.
Yeah. I think I have a collection set called miscellaneous that I put that kind of thing into.
Yeah.
So even if I got 500 pictures in there, it's not hard to flip through them in the library module in the grid and find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The whole thing's about time and finding it as fast as you can.
Right.
So you can edit it because that's what you really want to do.
So when you go take these lighthouse pictures and go over to develop, you're only going to see one of these?
Yeah,
If you
That's
collect
it.
them, if he
Yeah.
collects, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
And that's what you were saying earlier, John. You're
well,
not going to
yeah,
be able to
that's
see.
not actually completely
your-
true. Yeah, down at the bottom here, you can see things that are in that collection. I don't know whether I'd filter.
Yeah, this
it
is
or not, but yeah,
Franklin on March 2nd is what is the collection we're looking at.
yeah. Yeah, so this is another way to wander around in a collection without having to go back to the library is the only place I think where you can actually see this grid view.
Yes.
In develop, you can see
So-
this.
The other thing,
When you move of an image into Lightroom, does it automatically change it to DNG? Because I noticed that when I was looking at trying to do something with one of my photos, kind of preparation for this, but unfortunately, I can't, you know, this is a one-way conversation now, but does it always change it to DNG?
No, you
tell
have
it
to
to.
tell it you want to do that. So you must have done that at some point.
Okay, I must have.
yeah, it'll
Another mystery.
Probably
Let me
go to the
preferences.
library and import there's a setting to import as, see, right at the top, copy as DNG.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then you could
DN
change that if you,
Yeah, you can just copy it. And
DNG
that'll
is
leave it
probably
in-
your better choice anyhow.
Yeah.
Is DNG like have all the data that a raw file has?
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
raw file plus the other little file. And they just combine it into one generic format.
Yeah,
So if
I
you
use it
move-
because it's a standard and it will survive beyond Adobe, but probably I won't survive beyond Adobe, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
paranoid. Um,
If you were to go into your hard drives outside of Lightroom with the file management system and you move that CR2 or NEF file and you don't move the XLM file, they won't connect anymore. But if you if you do it as a DNG, that stuff is all together and it travels.
Okay,
So it's a good idea to use DNG.
okay.
So John, I've got a question about
It's a
that.
raw file.
I'm kind of getting the impression that Lightroom is not updating the DNG unless I do something special. Because if I take a DNG and move it somewhere else, give it a different name, bring it into Lightroom, it doesn't have all the edits. And I sort of thought those would all be in there. But I'm wondering, is there some control in Lightroom that says update the DNG with your history files or don't do it? You aware of that?
Is that something that could be in preferences?
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know. I've never tried that one. We can have to do a little research there. Because it's, in my opinion, would be that it should all the changes you made should come back, should be in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but when I went to try it, they weren't there, but anyway, that's a question for the internet maybe, because we don't know the answer, I guess. But yeah, should be one of the good things about DNG files is that they're more portable. You don't have to worry about this other little hidden file that theoretically gets copied around when you move the raw files. The other good thing about DNG is it can be opened by just about any photo editing program, and the proprietary files, there's a lag, while they update to that format. So I just bought a new camera last year, and even Adobe took a couple months before they recognized the CR3 file from my new camera. Now they do. So.
Other good thing about collections is that you can rearrange them. So if you want to move at picture 5, as we're looking at it, move it up to picture 2,
Oh,
all you got to
right.
do is drag it. But you can't do that in the
Full-
file section.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you mean in the file section?
Well, if I look at-
if you
Just a second. So I can here go to the folder in the library. So I'm looking at it in a collection. I'm going to go to the library. And now here are the same pictures, except it's all the pictures I took on that day. But if I try to move them around, whoops.
yeah, you went back to your,
That surprises me.
I think it took us back to your collection.
Oh, okay. So go to the folder in the library. Now I'm in the folder. And I'm moving it around. I wonder if they've changed this. Oh, well.
You can't drop it?
All right. Yeah, I can move it, which I thought I couldn't do. So I'm looking at the folder.
So
not
you're
the collection.
moving it within collection?
No, I'm moving it within the folder, which is something John and I thought
Oh,
you could
okay.
not do. But,
Yeah,
huh,
oops.
oh well. Well, collections are still good for other things, so many other things. Yeah.
Wish I would have known some of this stuff 5 or 6 years ago when I started using Lightroom. I mean, my file system is all in Windows Explorer,
Yeah,
date, year, what I took pictures of, that's how I find stuff. I never got going with collections, but
Huh.
I might want to rethink this a little, but
Yeah,
I
Dale,
quite a few photos.
it's, if we can get together for a little bit, I can show you how to do that, and it's really pretty quick.
Okay,
And just basically duplicating your file structure.
right,
It's, a lot of it's just drag and drop.
yeah. And the problem, John, is I've moved my files around even on my hard drive. So,
Yeah.
well,
Well, if they're in Lightroom, it doesn't make any difference.
there's something I'd wanted to do for a long time, and I just did it the last week or so. If you look at my folders, now we're in the library module, you're looking at my folders, you look at how neat this looks. They're all by year, by DNG. Well, it didn't look like that a few days ago because I didn't have these high-level folders on my hard disk. What it looked like was this, just year after year, sort of spread into each other. So I decided to be adventurous and created these new folders in Lightroom and moved all the pictures into there in Lightroom. And the key thing there is to do it in Lightroom, not go to your hard disk and start moving stuff around, because then Lightroom will immediately lose it. But if you're careful and you create folders and you move folders around in Lightroom, Lightroom will go to the hard disk and do it for you. So the key lesson there is if you get to the point where you want to rearrange your folders, do it in Lightroom and save yourself a lot of hassle, because if you start going to your disk and moving stuff around, when you go back to Lightroom, it won't be able to find them. You can show Lightroom where they are and they'll get reconnected, but that's a tedious kind of fraught process. But letting Lightroom move things around works pretty well, works perfectly, in fact. It just probably moved around 20,000 pictures to clean up the look, the structure that I had. So I get the point is, if you didn't start out with a very logical file structure on your disk, you can still fix that to some extent if you want to organize it differently. Just be careful and read something about how to do that before you start moving stuff around.
yeah, I gotta run. Thanks, Jay and John.
Okay. See you later.
Dale,
Take care.
You too.
See you, Alan.
Hey, Dale.
Yeah,
hey, Dale, if you want to get together, just bump me a little email and we'll set up a time. And
Okay.
we can,
yeah. The
Go
problem
through it.
is I live in
I'm
Muskegon,
happy
so
to do that. Well, that's all right. We'll do it this
Yeah.
way by Zoom. It works actually fairly well. We can look at.
yeah.
look at
Okay,
things
thank you.
Right on the.
All
right
right,
in Lightroom.
thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
You want to do it? Fine.
Okay, well, we've used up an hour. I mean, the original intent of this was to answer the questions that people had sent in. But if they're not here, I don't want to try to answer the questions because they weren't all that simple, a lot of them. The other thing we tried, or we encouraged people to do, was to show us edits they'd done if they'd had problems editing in Lightroom, and maybe John or I could show them how to do what they weren't able to figure out how to do. I still think that might be a good thing to do, but somehow we have to publicize that better, but maybe that's got to wait. I think we may be doing better, John, with one-on-one sessions at this point, and let people get in touch with one of the two of us if they want more like a tutorial thing, which is I think what John Russell
Yeah.
needs, for example, and probably some other folks too. So
Can you answer one question for me before we go? One of the things, well, there are actually two questions. One is, I was watching a YouTube video, and the fellow that was doing the Lightroom, he had his photo up, his image up, and then he's, very quickly hit some button, I don't know what, and then it showed the rule of thirds on, just like superimposed lines on his
Just
picture.
a grid.
And he was saying, oh, see, this follows the rule of thirds, but I couldn't figure out where he did that.
well, this is one way to do it. Just click in the develop module, click on the crop tool.
Oh,
By
okay.
default, it shows you this 3x3 grid. As you change it,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And-
there's,
And see, it's kind of cockeyed.
yeah, it's because I've already adjusted it.
Mm.
You've already done some. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
yeah.
And then the second thing I wondered, and you could see this more clearly in one of the other, like you can do a straightening of the photo. And I think either John, somewhere along the line, I saw someone do it. Where, like you take a picture of it's moving side, it looks like it's leaning, and you can straighten it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's-
one, for example. Again, the crop tool is one way to do that. If you move your mouse outside the picture, you'll see it turns into a couple arrows.
Yeah,
And if I look at one of the horizontal lines as a guide, I can straighten it. There's another way to do this, John. Maybe I don't ever do it, but you can draw a
yeah,
line.
right,
You
yeah,
right,
on the right where it says angle, in the right underneath the crop icon,
yeah.
down, second one down,
Oh,
says
this one.
angle. Click
Oh.
on that.
Yeah, okay.
Click on the angle.
oh, okay.
Click on the angle, on the word angle.
Move it.
If you
Oh, and then this lets you,
just click on the,
yeah, then you can draw a
yeah,
line.
now, okay, now you've got it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 3 ways
That
to
worked
do
really
this,
well.
which is typical of Lightroom.
Yeah,
So just to,
It'd be a lot easier if there was only one way to do everything, and then that's
Yeah.
all you'd have to learn.
yeah,
that's the confusing part of the Lightroom. There's
yeah,
at
I've
least
never used
3
this,
ways, if not
actually.
6. to do anything.
I do everything with a crop tool because
That to me works really well, better than
the angle thing you like?
the angle works a lot better for me,
Yeah,
because I don't have to try and line it up. I only have to pick 2 points
Mhm.
yeah,
instead of trying to fit that whole line to the horizon.
yeah. I guess I've done this so many
Particularly one
times.
like that, where you've only got a little bit of
Yeah,
horizon to work with.
yeah,
You can just draw the line of that stuff you can see over there, and
yeah.
it'll straighten it up.
Okay, well,
Oh, we lost your voice again, Mary.
You can't hear me?
No,
Can
now
you
I
hear me now?
can. Yeah, we couldn't before. Yeah, now we,
Yeah, I don't know why this isn't working. You know, I had the latest Windows 10 update. And now this doesn't seem to work for me. You know, the Zoom and execute some browser, but I'll work on this and see.
yeah.
Because I've got a bunch of these meetings like everyone else. But
Oh, yeah. Well,
it'd be a bummer if it doesn't work.
it's always worth doing a restart on your computer if anything weird is happening.
Yeah, I did that while we were, and I think that might be how I got into this opportunity, you know, it said, try getting in on your browser. So I don't know what that means because I thought you had to have the Zoom app, and I think I do, but I'll shut the whole thing down and
Yeah.
try all over again. So see what
Okay.
happens. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm
Okay.
sorry that we didn't have more participants, but maybe you're right. Maybe we tune in for, an hour and sort of identify people who want to come and ask questions. I thought Ann Kennedy would be here because she told me she had some questions. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
there were,
know.
I looked, there were 7 or 8 questions that
There
people
were-
had asked. I was
Did you
surprised.
send out a reminder?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah. Not today, but yeah, I think I've sent out 3
I
emails
wonder
about
if we
this
need to
meeting.
send one today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the original plan for this meeting was to have people
Forget what they-
edit a picture themselves and then show us what they did and then ask us how they could do a better job. Nobody did that. I don't know why. I thought we did this whole meeting because somebody suggested that. Oh, well,
Yeah,
it's getting to be close to summer. I guess people are busy doing other things, gardening.
I'd rather be outside. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. So,
Okay, well, I'm going to stop the
okay,
recording.
well,
but,
so, yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk again. And John, right? I mean, Jay, we have that next meeting on the 10th.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully that'll work. So, okay.
Okay.
All right. See
All
you
right.
all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.